Hello everybody and welcome to Lush and Salty Aquariums. My name is Stefan. Thanks for coming to my channel. Did a little housekeeping on the 12-gallon bookshelf aquarium. Bookshelf aka long. Beautiful little footprint. I guess still a nano tank. This is from Lifeguard Aquatics. They make pretty good products. Low iron glass. A little bit less money, 10-20% less than the upmarket competitors like UNS or ADA. It might even be cheaper than that. It's a good fish tank, and I've had real nice success with this glass box. Okay, so I did, as I said, some housekeeping, which means, believe it or not, I cleared some of the plant matter from this tank, both above and below the water. It's still my most lush aquarium. I mean, as soon as I take something out, something else replaces it in terms of the plant matter and probably the aquatic life as well. I've got a nice group of clown killifish. Move my hand there and try to find an optimal viewing point for them. Whoop, maybe they don't like it from above. They think it's a bird with a beak. You can see the little ripples on the water. Isn't that beautiful though? So natural with that moss. That's now like 3 years growth there. So in a way, like an old growth. You see some floating plants. There's a rotala from the immersed version right there, that stem. You see some Brazilian pennywort in there, and of course pothos. I cut that big old gnarly stem a few weeks ago. You can see the new tendril coming out. But what a really terrific view from above. You know, and there's no animals, probably a few midges and the like, but even without any livestock up there, and thank goodness no reflections, it's a pretty sweet view. One of the things I discovered after coming into this hobby relatively late in the game for me, you know, just a few years ago I started growing things out of the water and I've never looked back. But let's move back down. So there's a trio of clowns. You see a juvenile in the background and two what looks to be like plump females. I can't tell because I need to see the actual back section. That's how, yeah, these look like females despite that horrible reflection. Ouch. I'm gonna have to do better for you guys. There's a beautiful gold mystery snail, and man, does he ever pop in there, right? Almost like a carnation on a suit, a yellow carnation. Yellow carnation for spring, like an Easter egg. I've also got a group of chili rasboras, and man, oh man, they got frightened by the camera, but we're gonna go deep in there and we're gonna find them by hook or by crook. As I move through the aquarium, let's look for the first denizens. I spy with my little eye. Nothing. What a bust, Stefan, you boob. Ah, the wild pencilfish. I'm not using an adjective, that's what it's called. That's its common name, Nanostonus marginatus, I think, marginatus. What a beautiful fish. Look at that dorsal. Just tight and top vertical, like a shark. There's a group of them. Now there's some Pygmy Corydoras, and there is another one of the pencilfish. There's a neon green, neon blue rasbora. And I have about 6 of those pencilfish, about a half dozen of these Pygmy Corydoras. You see them in the roots down there. Probably only 2 or 3 left of the rasbora there. They were among the first denizens in the fish tank, and I've let them sort of go by the way of attrition. And right now I'm kind of doing this fun thing, playing against type with the vertical stripes of the clown killifish and the horizontal stripes of the pencilfish. So that's kind of fun, a clash. I wanted to capture because there's plenty of them. You see a couple just cherry shrimp, but one of them is probably a black rose or a blue. Neither of them have a pedigree worth of shit, pardon my French. But this tank is all about the organics, and I'm not intensely worried about cultivating a line of shrimp really in any of my fish tanks. Well, I should rephrase that, but it's here nor there. I'm looking at the bottom and I see a couple pencilfish, maybe they're courting. I have had luck spawning the clowns in here as well as those pencilfish, but I've only found a couple fry from each that have made it to adulthood, and they are among the tenants of this horizontal fish apartment building. Man, my reflection is a pain in the butt. That white thing down here, where is it? That's a reflection of my fish nets. So you could see, as we look at a fun piece of paraphernalia along the edge, Diver Dan, when you put the air in him, he would lift and lower that trunk he's holding. And then I've got some leaves. I collected those leaves like 3 years ago, and I didn't throw them out. I mean, there's plenty of leaves out there, but every fall I just keep emptying the bag of the same leaves I corrected. And I make these little ever-changing, I don't know, what do you want to call them, still lifes? Look at these two fun discus. My daughter's got me this, one of them got me this for Christmas, and she found them in a vintage store in Charleston, South Carolina. And aren't they awesome? I've never seen this anywhere like on Etsy or eBay, but I think they're pretty freaking cool. Now my daughters also gave me these fun vintage fisher people, and they kind of bob and weave up there on the edge of the rack, and then you can see my collection of aquarium paraphernalia, which I need to do a separate video because there's so much cool stuff up here. It's crazy. The graphics from the 50s, 60s, and 70s in those products there, the technology, and then these fun bits and bobs that people would decorate their fish tanks with. Then there's a piece of, as many of you nature aquarium enthusiasts or blackwater, that's just a botanical. I've got some of my driftwood up there. There's an antique fish tank. They call that style the battery because it looks like a car battery. So I have all kinds of fun stuff in the fish room above and beyond, literally above and beyond the fish tank. And I was frustrated by the reflection, so that's why I drifted up there. I don't, you know, from my vantage point, this is one of the most intoxicating of my fish tanks because look at it. I mean, it always needs a cleaning. It's like a hippie. It's my hippie tank. And whenever I change stuff around, I can cut everything back, and in a few weeks, I'll get like this robust immersed growth rotala. And then, by the way, all of those roots, if you know, the big one there is from pothos, but a lot of that, especially these finer white ones, are from the immersed growth rotala, and it's getting all of its, it's producing all of its life above the water. So below the water, there's little, if any, plant growth. But the roots do extend down, and they will make it into the substrate, as you can see here. And the more I let that be, the more entrenched they get into the substrate. So we look at a couple of my nano creatures. I hope you're appreciating this video despite its flawed rendering. Even if I edited the hell out of it, I couldn't avoid some of these reflections. I've tried. And I think it's annoying to do too many apologies in a product that you're offering, if you want to call these videos a product. But so again, I beg your pardon. You shouldn't sleep on mystery snails. You can get like 2 or 3 for $5 at the swaps, and obviously they're like, that's, you know, $5 a piece at your local fish store. But the color morphs, there's a couple beautiful pencilfish doing their dance. The male-female courting is one sort of behavior, and then males flashing is another. And they will constantly do that in your fish tank. I think these wild pencilfish, for the money, you cannot beat the, you know, the hood, the style, the color, the patterning, the behavior. Compare it to the famous, you know, I say famous, aka expensive coral red or red Maya, and some of those new morphs that they've discovered, new species of a very similar pencilfish, but those are $20-$30 a piece. These you can get 3 for $15 sometimes, you know, $6.99 each. So, and I don't think they look much worse, and worse is the wrong word, because no fish, you know, we don't do that. We're not biased here, but you get the intense beauty, exotic coloration and patterning. I don't drink, folks. That's just me being a goof. Look at that hair. There's a good picture. What are you looking for, buddy? I gave these guys live brine about 2 hours ago, so there's probably a few stragglers in there. Not many, though, because these are all micro predators. Not the Pygmy Corydoras, they're omnivores, but the pencilfish, the rasboras, and the clown killies are micro predators. And what's cool, and it's a good combination, because the clowns like to be up top, although they will migrate all over the tank for one reason or another. The pencils are all over the tank creatures, and the Pygmy Corydoras are sort of known for being free swimming. You know, they don't just stick to the bottom. So all in all, everywhere I look, whenever I look, I see so much that my eye can't find one given thing to look at until I look for it. And then when I find my group of pencilfish, or I find the clown killies, or God willing, a baby, it's such a thrill. It's like going on a little jungle adventure, a safari, every time I pay attention to this fish tank. And when I'm just sitting in my chair, which is right there in the fish room, it's just a look to the left, and then I get all of that eye candy stuff I talked about above the tank, and then the tank itself. For the equipment, just to be, you know, fulfill the brief here, that's a straightforward Haiger strip light, probably the best they make. They're very inexpensive. You're gonna get kind of a blue-white vibe from them. They never throw the reds the way I like, the way Chihiros and Twin Star can, especially Chihiros, but the price is so much less. And that, as many of you can recognize, is the FiltoSmart, the thermal version. I think that's the 100, the smallest canister they make that has a heater, and it does a great job. You don't see the water movement, but if I put my finger all the way back and behind at the outflow, it's pretty rigorous. But by the time it gets, and you can see the rippling in there, into the jungle there. I'm gonna move down because I saw a cherry shrimp. You see, after a while in your tank, generations F1, F2, F3, F4, they start to just get calico and mottled and sprayed with different colors or lack of color. They do a great job, though. I mean, as we go along the bottom, you don't see detritus. You see a little bit of moss, a little bit of algae here and there, a twig sticks, but no crap. No food, no poop. So the plants take care of the poop. The Corydoras and the Neocaridina and the shrimp take care of the food. And we're golden, right? As I move in onto some new growth on this Bucephalandra. And there's like a golden or a brown saddle-backed Neocaridina, and there's one that just reverted to more or less its wild coloration. Although it's kind of nifty, right? It's got that yellow and black like a bee. I could just go on and on. I mean, and it's what I do in these videos. It's what we all do. You see the clowns at the top of the water. Anyway, folks, if you have any questions or comments, I love hearing from you. If you want to know more about this aquarium, please do ask. I answer all questions, and I love getting them. Look forward to it, actually. But until that time, always keep your hands in the tank, albeit carefully, and ciao for now.